I'm here with Jerry Johnson in her home, and we're going to get to know her a little better as she talks about her life and faith.
Well, I grew up in a little town across the river on the other side of the Columbia River, Nasale, Washington, and that was predominantly a Finnish village, and I did not learn to speak very good Finnish because my mom and dad always said they tell secrets in Finnish, and I didn't need to know all those secrets.
And what church did you go to there?
Nasale Lutheran, and there was not a regular pastor there in the church. We had to have a pastor from Astoria come over occasionally, and that would be our big Sunday or whatever day he came over. It was Pastor Kaskinen from Peace Lutheran.
Oh, great. So you were baptized, confirmed, all over there?
I was baptized, all four of us kids. There was four in the family, and I'm the oldest. We were baptized in my home.
Oh, in the home?
All four of us at the same time. I wasn't baptized when I was a baby. I was pretty far up. I was the oldest. And
do you remember who the pastor was then?
Pastor Kaskinen.
Yeah, and tell me, so Johnson is not a Finnish name. What was your maiden name?
My maiden name, actually the way to say it was Pakanen, which got turned around to Pakanen. And my dad went to high school in Nasale, played basketball, and the basketball coach gave him a new name, Pack. To this very day, he has been known as Pack. For Pakanen.
So how did you become a Johnson?
Well, my father-in-law and my husband were in the produce business, driving trucks from Portland, picking up things and dropping them off in places, grocery stores. And so I was working in a grocery store, and that's where my husband was delivering groceries. So we became acquainted, and that's how we met.
Wow. And was that here in Astoria or over?
That was in Nasale.
Nasale.
Yeah. And then we were moving to Astoria because that's where his business was. And it was a hard place to come because we got married at the end of the Second World War, and we couldn't find a place to live. We couldn't find an apartment in Astoria to live in. I had to go back to Nasale because my husband was still working over here, and so we didn't get together for a couple of weeks looking for a place to live.
So you commuted by ferry back then? Or?
No, I went back to live with my folks till we can find a place to live.
So you found a place then, eventually?
Oh yeah, we lived on Bond Street, and then we outgrew that place. Right, we lived on Bond Street, had been lived through Navy personnel, and that was a very small place. So then we find another one that was down close to where the Norwegian place, where they have their meetings downtown. In farther on down, we found a place to have an apartment there. Well, then, first son was on his way, so we had to move and get away from where we were, and we went farther down, close to where the park on the other end of town.
Oh.
So we lived up in there, and that's where Dale was born, and then
on the south side South Slope over there.
Yeah, over there they had a view of the not the Columbia River, but the other river.
Youngs Bay, yeah.
Yeah. So then my father-in-law decided that we were going to have a house. So he got in touch with his friend who was a carpenter, and they started building the house. And First Lutheran was building their church. And here we were building our house and they were building their church. But they moved up into the church before we moved into the house. We didn't get done as fast as the church, even though it was larger.
So you actually then, you've been here as long as the new church has existed.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The new church and our house are just very close in age.
And then, so did you and your family attend that church?
Well, me and my two boys attend. My husband is only when we decided he was going to go there to go to church, then he'd come if we pushed him hard enough.
But your two boys went to Sunday school there?
Mm-hmm. The oldest one, Bruce, he started Sunday school first, and Pastor Storsley was up here then, and he was an elderly pastor, and they had one daughter, and she used to wait at the corner, and Bruce used to come from here, walk up the street, and Joanne would take him to Sunday school up there, and I'd stay home with my baby, because he was born after the second son was born.
And then eventually he became of Sunday school age.
Yes, that's another thing. We were getting ready to send Bruce to Sunday school, and I was trying to get ready, and Dale looked at me, he says, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Well, I'm taking you to Sunday school." "No, you're not." He said, "Bruce is going to take me." But I did take him, but he wasn't very happy with me taking him to Sunday school.
Well, and Jerry, you've been involved, I know, when I came in the choir, and what are your memories of attending First?
Oh, we had a wonderful choir. First Lutheran was very busy at the time, and there were a lot of people going to First Lutheran. A lot of churches around town, there were a lot of people going to church. And we had a good choir for many years.
Now, didn't you tell me you and Christina Burney used to sing in the cell choir or the Finnish choir?
Oh, well, there was a choir, kind of, they had a celebration over at Nacelle every 2 years, I think, celebrating it was quite a big celebration, and we had a choir gathered of Astorians and people from across the river, and it was a very good choir, and one of our pastors, he wasn't a pastor, but he was a member of the choir, and he was still a member when they lived away from town.
And you would then commute over there to sing in that choir?
No.
No?
Oh, well, yes. Yes, it was. I rode many times over there with Christina. Christina had a lovely voice, and she was well accepted over there. It was a good choir.
Yeah.
In fact, my dad even sang in that choir. He was a tenor, and I was his alto.
You and Christina together, I bet were lovely.
Yes, we had some very, very good singers.
And Christina just lived up in the neighborhood here too.
She did. She lived just a couple blocks away from the church.
So did you have any favorite pastors or remembrances of pastors?
I have a very good remembrance of Pastor Steve. Our pastor now is a good pastor.
Well, what would be your hopes for the future of the church?
To grow. it's been a nice church, nice people. Here I am, a Finn in the Norwegian side of town, and I never felt any reason that I was not accepted. In fact, Donna Homestead and I used to be Sunday school teachers in the lower Sunday school, and if you can believe, I played the piano.
Oh, yes.
That was terrible. But Donna led and then we'd break up and go into our little classrooms, and it was a good time.
Wow. Any further memories or things you'd like to share?
No, I was going to say my good friends, the Jarvies, live across, and they were 30 years, they were members of ours for 37 years. And they were just like another grandmother and grandfather for the kids. And Bill used to come and wave his hot dog buns, and he'd come running and tell me, Mom, Bill wants me to come over for lunch. He has hot dogs. So they were just very, very good. And they had 2 older sons, so they were never really buddies with our 2 boys. But that's another thing. We hardly have any children in our neighborhood, but half of this 33rd Street down to Grand across 1 block, and half the next, I counted the kids once. There was 40 kids.
Wow.
But they were not all the little ones. There were a few teenagers and some little ones, but it was a very, very full of children in our neighborhood. Many of them who went to First Lutheran Church.
Wow. Well, your family, your husband and your children and your grandchildren have all left great marks here in Astoria and beyond, and that must mean they come from good stock.
They all took good care of me and my family, and they still do. My 2 sons and 2 daughters-in-law, they take good care of me. And we have 2 great-granddaughters that live, one lives in Astoria, one lives in Tillamook. And I just wish I was closer, that I could, this flu business that we have now is hard to be real close to anybody.
Yes, it's important to keep safe distance.
Absolutely.
I know you're missing those 2 little great-granddaughters.
Oh, yes. They are so sweet. And they're only maybe 5 or 6 months apart in age. So we're really anxious for those 2 to be running around the house and playing. So.
Well, I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for this interview. But I'm going to leave you with, of course, the Finnish that I've learned with Kiitos paljon.
Ei ansaitse.
Thank you, Jerry.